Okay, this one will be quick. So a second ago we did Lerp, which is moving between one number to another number, incrementing over in between 0 and 1, like a percentage. So we're going to do something different. This is the Lerp Color. It's the same idea. In the documentation here, they call it let from, so this is the first color, and let to, the second color. And then they make this change with the Lerp color between these two as a certain percentage. So you can see up here the change that happens in between these. So let's just do the basics of that. So the first thing is we need some colors, right? So let's do let C1 and C2. This is going to be color 1 and color 2. And if I declare a color up here, it won't know what the color mode is, so it wouldn't be able to assign those yet. So I'm going to do it down here. So color 1, let's equal color, and I don't know, 200, so it's kind of red, maybe a little bit of green, and maybe not much blue. And let's do another one. So let's have a second color, and this color will be only a little bit of red, maybe some more green, and maybe we want a little more intense blue. All right, and let's just come down here and say fill C1. So let's just see what this has for the first color. All right, so here's our red. Fine and dandy, right? And then let's make sure we have a second color. Right? So if we wanted, well, let's create a third color. So let's just say let C3, so a third color, equal the Lerp color of C1, C2, and let's say 0.5 is just the amount in between that. And let's put C3 right there, right? So give us a new color that is it's just a transition between these, right? So it's going to do interpolations between these three numbers. I believe that's the way it works. So I got something in between. Remember, we did something blue and something kind of red, so we get purple this time. So that's fine, right? So we've set a new color. What if we wanted to animate that, though? So this is the one. Let's go back here. So if I say 0.1, you can see it's still pretty close to red. And if I said 0.9, this should be very close to blue. And purple was halfway in between. So how do we make the transition? Let's say we want something to animate over time. Well, if it's time, change, anything like that, right, we create a variable for it. So let's have something called let change. I'm going to create, let's do that. So this is going to be this variable called change. And actually, I'll make it equal to 0 here at the very beginning. Right, so there's the variable, and it's red because it hasn't changed any percentage. And of course, if I made this 1, it would be blue. But let's put it back to 0, and let's have change over time. Wasn't that clever? So change plus equals, let's do 0.01. The nice thing about this is this little amount, as this piles up, eventually it's going to get to 1. And this, whenever you use Lerp color or Lerp, that, I hear the text here, right? So the amount that we transition between both of those, and the documentation says this, that it, once it gets above 1, it stops. It basically caps it at 1. It won't go any further, so you don't get any weird colors. So you don't have to worry about stopping it if change gets to be too much. I don't know if you can tell, but it's going really, really slow. But it's gradually transitioning, right? We've got to purple, it's halfway through as it keeps piling this up. And then eventually we get to a full blue. Right? Okay. So anyways, that was a quick one. 5 minutes? Oh my. So let's just recap. Again, we're starting off with, so we have a color 1 and a color 2. Just like with Lerp, we can have X1 and X2. These examples, especially with Lerp, we're moving 2 coordinates was the idea that we're doing this, but we're just really transitioning between sets of numbers, right? We're moving from one number, a start number, to an end number. In the case of the color, we have 3 number sets that we're moving in between. I should mention that this would be drastically different if we were using a different color mode. We're still using RGB. I think that's kind of where we're at, and I don't want to introduce the HSB, hue, saturation, and brightness into the class right now, but something to be aware of. All right, happy coding.